Hey everybody, Elevate 6.0. We are live. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Come on in, guys. We are doing all virtual for 2024. Yes, I know some people are like, why we can't go back to in person like what we did last year? But hey, guys, lots of reasons. But let's just say this, right? This way, first of all, it's after work, right? And well enough late in the night for us to get engaged and enjoy ourselves wherever we are. No need to put on a fancy schmancy clothes, sit in a room, join lines for registration. This is just a nice, easy way to engage in what's going to be a fantastic week of great topics, great information. It's 2024. It's a new year. Happy New Year, everybody. Wishing you a wonderful, wonderful year ahead. And JMMB, as always, is here in the month of January to give you everything you need to know to kickstart your financial goals for 2024. And we are happy to bring to you our sixth installment of Elevate. So please, guys, tell your friends, tell your family, whoever is not here, call them, text them, DM them, tell them to come. They have to be a part of this conversation. There are opportunities for prizes and surprises as well, both during and after. You never know, so just stay tuned. But whether or not you win anything, you're going to come away that much better off with some great information. So, guys, we are on a clock. We have lots to get through and we want to jump right in. So, yes, come on in. Tell us hi in the chat. Tell us where you're joining us from. Tell us your name. Tell us one of your big, hairy, audacious goals for 2024. We want to get to know each other. You know, at JMMB, we believe we are family. We're all in this thing together. We want to make sure that you are hearing us, seeing us loud and clear. Shani! Long time no see you. What's happening? What's happening? Gemini, Ramon, ready. Yes, guys, tell your people them to come on in. Elevate 6.0 is here on live. And we're kicking off the week tonight talking about money mindset. And before we talk about any of the little rudiments about what you must do, how you must invest, how you must buy property, how you must budget, we thought it was great to start off with the whole thing about money mindset. What is your mental and yes, even emotional relationship with money, with your finances? That's where it's got to start, folks, because the research tells us that the wealthy and the not so wealthy look at money very, very differently. And how you view money, how you think about money, how you manage money generally is part and parcel of what's going to make the difference, whether or not you're going to achieve your financial goals. So we're going to kickstart with money mindset. Hey, Diana from Montego Bay, Sasha Gay, what's going on? We have two wonderful ladies here with us tonight. I'm sure if you are no stranger to JMMB live streams, they're no stranger to you. And I'm going to bring them up right now. Hey, Yannick from Maypen, thanks for joining. Yes, guys, drop your name in the chat. Tell us where you're watching from. And also tell us your goals while I introduce our wonderful guests who will be kicking us off and taking us through this evening's session. And first of all, I'm going to introduce the external guest first. And I'm careful about external because we consider her to be a part of the family. She is Anna the Money Coach. Anna Palomino. What's happening? Welcome.
Hi, Carrie. Hi, Carrie. Thank you for having me yet again. And I do feel like a part of the family. I'm so excited to do this tonight.
You absolutely are. And I was just telling Anna, she looked very business-like, though mindset is night. We're doing this thing. She looked like she's ready first thing in the morning, fresh and energized and ready to go. Thanks for joining, Anna. And with Anna is one of our JMMB team members, our beloved well, Michelle, I don't even know what topic you have these days because Michelle do 50 million different things at JMMB, but we know for sure she's still one of our JMMB songbirds, beautiful singing voice. And she too is very, very passionate about helping people to connect with the right mindset around their money and around finances. She is our beloved Michelle Sinclair Doyley.
Hi,
Michelle,
everybody. Welcome.
What title you have now, please, and thanks.
Currently, it is Corporate Manager Group Financial Partnership Support and financial education.
All
Long.
right. Long, plenty. I tell
Long
you, she
time
do a
for a
whole heap
short
of
lady, right?
things. I tell you, she do a whole heap of things, guys. But Michelle, thanks for joining. Anna, thanks for joining. We're just going to jump right into it. Yes, guys, if you're just joining us, thanks for joining. Drop your name and where you're watching us from in the live chat window, whichever platform you're joining us from. Tell us one of the big, hairy, audacious goals that you have for 2024 and call your friend, your family, your co-worker, them, tell them that they need to be here right now because JMMB Elevate is live across all of JMMB's social media platforms. It's free 99. We're not charging. We're giving away great information at no cost because yes, guys, it's all about them goals and achieving them goals for 2024. So let's jump right in. Anna, I'd love to kick off with you, of course. Thanks again for being a part of this, right? Anna, first question, what are the 5 steps to having a healthy money mindset? Just kick us off, please.
Boy, Kerry, I have the 5 steps, but they're long, and I'm just going to try to condense them so that we can get through this. But first, you have to understand what your beliefs are about money. You can't conquer something if you don't know that you have a problem. You have to first address it head on so that you know that, listen, this is a problem. I need a strategy to fix it. So that's step 1. Step 2 is you need to now work on having a positive relationship with money. Boy, I'm just always broke, so boy, money just not catch me. Boy, money just as me get it gone. You need to work on that. You need to work on that. You need to start working on cultivating a positive relationship with money. Next thing is financial education and literacy. You don't know what you don't know. You have to take up a book and read. You have to follow our platforms and listen to what we have to say because we share so much information about finance that if you can just tune in and listen and read, you know how far you can get. So you have to work on your financial education and literacy if you're going to advance in this money game. Next, you have to embrace risk. This is where, listen, don't log off, people. Don't log off. You have to embrace risk. You have to jump into that game of risk. Understand that if you're going to make money, if you're going to build a solid portfolio for yourself, you have to embrace risk. It's all about how you assess it and analyze it before you decide that, listen, I'm going to hug it up and run with it. You don't just chuck off like that headway. No, you have to analyze it, but you also don't run away from it. Lastly, you have to set clear goals. Please do not tell me that you want to retire and you don't even know what you need to be doing to retire. You don't know where you need to get. What does retirement look like for you, for example? What kind of lifestyle are you trying to live? You have to figure this out in order to work on it day by day in order to get to that target. So to help you with that, you have to set clear goals and you have to jump in and actually do the things. Don't just put them on a vision board and look at them because they're pretty. You have to actually do things. So Kerry, I have the 5 things for you right there. We're going to delve into this a little bit more tonight.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for kicking us off, right, Anna? And, I want to acknowledge everybody who has been joining in the chat. And Angela, yes, if you have a question, guys, you can drop it in the live chat. There are lots of people watching from different platforms, so I can't guarantee that we'll be able to get to all of the questions. But I know that based on the cadence of questions that we have lined up for these wonderful ladies, we're going to be getting through a lot of content. So, yes, please drop your questions. And if we can get to it, we certainly can. Hey, Orville wants to grow this year, grow his money. Wonderful, wonderful. Hey, Angela, joining us from New York. Angela, hush it cold up there. Hush, hush, hush. Never mind. Never mind. We're sending some warm Jamaican air your way. All right, Michelle, over to you. Michelle, following on Anna's 5 steps to having a healthy money mindset, understanding your beliefs about money, right? And I sort of kicked off by saying, with the research has shown that those who are wealthy and those who are not so wealthy, a lot of the differences between them is their own beliefs about money, whether those beliefs are limiting or empowering. Could you expound on that, please, about how folks can see and understand their own beliefs about money?
All right, so our beliefs about money and our money mindset. So we're going to break down the term, right? Mind up here, so right? And set, it's set, right? So it is something that is fixed very often. And you notice that anything that is fixed is often hard for us to just break out of. It takes some concentration, it takes some work to break out of it. So the first thing for us to even understand is what creates this setness about our money, right? Or money mindset, what makes it set. And it would be our upbringing, it's our cultural influences, it would be our past experiences or interactions and our personal beliefs. So now to the whole thing about, my own beliefs about money and how do we get them? As we said, it's based on all of these things. But then, since we want to often reset our money mindset, then it means that we therefore need to plug into new things. So the upbringing that gone already, right? Can't change that. But what are the things that we can change? We can change our interactions. So our beliefs are going to be based on the persons with whom we are interacting on a frequent basis. You ever notice that if you interact with somebody a lot, you start to speak like them, the same words, the same kinds of feelings you tend to be expressing? So, what we can do to change the mindset is to change very often who we're interacting with. And then they are going to influence our belief system. So, very quickly, Kerry, let me tell you about what happened with me. So, how my money mindset got elevated is I started interacting with a lot of persons who had money. And some of those persons would have been clients who would have been in terms of net worth further ahead than I was. And as I would say to them, explain to me, how do you think about this? How do you make this move, etc., etc.? They would explain it to me. And as they would share their belief systems, and I would try it out, and it would work, my own belief system changed too. So, since we're talking about this mindset that we're trying to move, it becomes important who we're moving with.
I love that. I love that. And it's interesting you talk about moving with, because I
Mhm,
think in anything, because even when we're raising our kids, especially teenagers, we talk about things like peer pressure because we
mhm,
recognize that people and who we hang out with can influence our thoughts and influence our behavior. But I know too, Michelle, for a lot of us, it's how we were raised, right?
mhm,
How our families or those who would have raised us saw money.
mhm,
For those of us who were raised with probably limiting beliefs about money, then Michelle, because I think
mhm.
those are the folks who would probably need a little bit more help. What could you give us a sense of, if I have limiting beliefs about money, how can I work to reshape those? What are some of the strategies and things that I can do to get a better, more empowering growth mindset in how I look at money?
All right, well, I will tell you my story because I started out with a very limiting belief. One of my beliefs was that as a woman, I could not understand money. I just thought it was going to be confusing. A lot of the women around me, although very educated, very accomplished, once it came on to money, they just didn't have a clue. They were nervous, they were fearful, etc. And so I grew up with a belief that women were not going to be excellent money managers. You left that to the men. What changed was my interactions. So I would have met people. And I'll tell you about a client that I met some time ago, extremely wealthy man. And I asked him, what is the secret to your wealth? And as he started pouring into me, I was able to pick up on certain things that I have taken as my own money beliefs now. So one was, and he's a Christian, I'm a Christian, right? So just telling you my own personal ones. So it may not relate to everybody, but my own personal ones. Number one is I don't own the money. It's not mine. I'm a steward of the money. And so the more I or the better able I am to manage God's money, the more he will give to me. And that man was saying that same thing. He was the first person that poured that into me. And I recognized that as I started taking stock of my money, right? Budgeting, being sensible with expenditure, etc., I did recognize that more money flowed to me. Another thing that he would have shared with me at the time, which I didn't believe until I tried it, was that the more that he said, lady, the more I gave to God, the more he gave to me. I didn't believe it, as I said, but then I tried it and it worked and it has become my own. Another thing that he would have shared with me is the importance of integrity. in all business dealings. Now, I believed in integrity before. However, because we always hear that rich people are always swindlers and they always get their money in some underhanded way, I thought it was somewhere in the back of my head that wealth came with not having integrity. And so, what was happening is I could not really aspire towards wealth because it would mean that I would have been aspiring towards something that I perceived as negative. And many people have that same challenge, you know. We say we want more money, we say we want more wealth, etc. But we believe that all rich people are crooks. And as I saw him operate, and I recognized how much integrity he had, and as I saw other wealthy people operate with integrity, it changed that belief system for me. And so it comes down to the exposure that you have. If you have a belief and that belief is causing you pain, it becomes so important for you to go and find alternative information that tells you that what you're believing doesn't make sense. And when you can see it happen in real life and then you try it, it becomes your own belief because then it is tried, tested, and proven. And so, in order to change your money mindset, you must expose yourself to new information, and very often that comes through people. So, mentors, advisors, you can also have people would write articles, literature, right? There are courses and there are communities.
I love the way that you spun that, Michelle, because I think that a lot of what we would need to acknowledge is there are those things, and everybody is different, right? And I know everybody is watching. Everybody is different in terms of their relationship with money, their experience, and what they would have been told. But it's so very important for us. And what I'm getting from your point, Michelle, is that we look and find what those limiting beliefs are and
Mhm,
what would have been the root of them. I know in
mhm,
Jamaica, of course, because Jamaica, if you're of Jamaican parentage or you live in Jamaica, of course, we are a very Christian country. And
mhm.
one of the things that I hear being thrown about, which I think also hurts people's belief about money, is a misquotation in the very Bible itself about money is the root of all evil.
Mhm.
And not go sign of the Bible
Mm-mm,
at all,
mm-mm, mm-mm,
right? It's not money that's the root of all evil. It's the love of it. You understand? It is
mhm,
putting
mhm.
money ahead of loving your family, loving your community, being generous and selfless.
Mhm.
It's putting money as a god in your life, as it
Right.
were. That's what
Mhm,
the scripture is meant to convey. But so many
mhm.
people are like, well, money is the root of all evil, so make fine with me like a self over here, but yet we want to achieve our financial goals. We want to be able to provide for ourselves and our families. So it's so very,
Mhm.
very important, guys, that we look through and identify what are those things that are holding us back from seeing our relationship with money as something that's good. And as you say, Michelle, ultimately, as long as it's not put in a place where it's not supposed to be,
Right.
then all is well. Thanks so much, guys, for joining. Yes, Gary, wealth of information. Thanks for joining. Sasha Gay, what's going on? Thank you so much, Angela. Thanks for reaching out. So, yes, guys, if you would like to have a JMMB representative contact you either tomorrow or during the course of this week, you can say when DM us. Please don't put your contact information in the live chat. Please, please, please DM us. And a JMMB representative will be able to speak to you one on one. If you have a question for us to put forward in this live stream, then drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. And if we have time, we'll get to it. Thanks so much. Want to big up the folks at Fantastic Fridays News Talk FM. Thanks so much for joining. So many people dropping. Yes, guys, tell us where you're watching us from and your goals for 2024. Anna, back over to you. So we're talking about money mindset, guys. And now we want to move into, I think what we just discussed is a great segue into the next portion of our conversation, and where we want to talk about cultivating a positive relationship with money, right? So recognizing again that we want to be responsible, and in everything with money, it's about being responsible. It's about having that healthy relationship with money. Could you share with us, Anna, your insights on shifting from a mindset of fear maybe around money, or a mindset of scarcity around money, to one of abundance and gratitude. Because again, we're really trying to help people to see money as not only wealth creation as something that's possible for them, but once they have achieved that goal, how should they be interfacing with their wealth, with their money going forward?
Absolutely. Sorry, well, my voice just went. Absolutely, Kerry. I'm actually going to be building on Michelle's point to answer your question, because Michelle laid out some beautiful points just now. And I find value in one of the last things that she said, which is basically you have to, when you're looking at money, when you're looking at people with money, instead of you looking at them through a certain lens, which is when people with money usually get it through illegal means or some other means, you should try to find the positive in it. And what I'd like to say is we need to learn the difference between worship and inspiration. It ties beautifully back into the fact that if you have a negative relationship with money, it's more than likely that you're looking at money as something that you can never have. You're looking at money as something that it's so beyond me. I can never have this in my lifetime, any at all. And so what happens is you look at people with money, people who are doing much better than you, and you distance yourself from those accomplishments that they have achieved. You say, oh, that's for them. They achieve that because that's because of their circumstances, because of their education, because of their links, because of their network. Instead of you looking at it through those negative lens, I invite you to start looking at those same people for inspiration. Here's the thing, Kerry. These people have done it already. Not all of them lay out exactly how they've done it, but we have quite enough people who we can look at. We can study their lives, we can study their companies, we can study their businesses, and we can see exactly how they did it. So let's look to those people for inspiration. They did this, they did step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Let's try to replicate that. And when you focus more on that instead of, boy, money thing is not for me, or that's a rich people business, not my business, you're going to see a dramatic shift in your life. And I'm speaking from personal experience. Personal experience. I also grew up with the mindset that rich people things that, or that could never be me, or I don't have the links to go do that. Kerry, it was so bad that I avoided quote unquote uptown restaurants because that wasn't for me. That's not for me. That's for money people. That's for uptown people. It's when I started breaking out of that mindset and I started walking into my destiny and walking in faith and walking into my faith. That's when I realized that, listen, all I have to do is open my mouth and speak. I realized that somebody in the dropped a comment earlier saying that I think it was Shanice. I'm gonna pick on you a little bit, Shanice. Shanice said it's not easy to be in a room with wealthy people when you're not at their level. But here's what I say to you: if you're working on a positive relationship with money, you need to look at it as the law of averages. It's a numbers game for you. You just talk to as many people as you can find, because within that batch of people you're talking to, you're going to find at least one or two who are wealthy or on their way to wealth, and they will be willing to share information with you. I am telling you because that's exactly what I did. I just broke out of my shell and I just started talking to people. Just, I don't care who you are, I'm going to talk to you. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what you drive. I don't care what you have on. I'm going to talk to you. And it helped tremendously with my mindset. So I'm going to invite you to do that. Instead of you looking at people through a certain lens and you are casting doubt on yourself through those same lens, look to those same people for inspiration and open your mouth and talk to them. It's going to help your mindset. The second thing I would say to you is, I'm a brain person. I love things with a brain, right? So I'm going to say there's this thing called cognitive restructuring. All it means is that we're rewiring or retraining our brain. Because here's another fun fact for you with respect to the brain. 43% of your day is done literally on autopilot. Your brain is literally just going on autopilot for 43% of the day, meaning you're operating from a place of habits 43% of the day, almost half of the day. So when you don't stop to figure out what your money mindset is, I hope you realize that if it is negative, almost half of the day you are walking around with negative money beliefs. So we're going to retrain our brain. We're going to be very cognizant of that. Whenever we catch ourselves thinking something like rich people, something, money, life, enough for me, da, 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 I want you to stop. I want you to process the fact that you're thinking that. I would like you to open your phone, your notes app or something, and you just write down the opposite of what your brain is telling you, because we're trying to retrain our brain to listen. You have to believe. You have to believe before you do. You have to believe. If you want a better life for yourself, you have to believe that you are going to do it, that it's just a matter of time, that the right people are going to cross your path, the right information is going to cross your path. You have to retrain your brain. And then the last tip I have for you, last tip. It's going to sound a little bit weird, especially because I'm another money coach, but this is something that's helped me tremendously. Carrie, when I tell you, say I used to run down money. I used to run down money, run down money, run down money. Any sort of business opportunity you have, me dead. I want to hear. But when my life turned around was when I started focusing on providing value instead of running down and chasing money. When I started providing value and started seeing results, my money mindset started changing dramatically, because money was not the center of my life anymore.
Mm-hmm.
When you shift your attention from money to providing value, if you're good at nails and you focus on being the best nail tech there is, you're researching, you're learning about new structures, new systems to do nails and things, and that's your focus, you know what's going to happen? You're going to have so many clients that you will not even be able to service them yourself. And you know what's going to happen? The money's going to flow into your life. You know what's going to happen? Your money mindset is going to change, because you have no choice but to change it. You now have money. So I suggest that you focus on providing value. If you're employed right now in a 9-to-5 job, the same advice applies. Focus on providing value. And I can go into a story about that, but I'm not going to. But I can go into a story about how focusing on providing value helped me when I was in my very first 9-to-5 job. That's how it helped me. So I'm just telling you guys, if you don't leave with anything today, please just heed these 3 points.
Love it, love it, love it. Guys, I hope you're taking in all of these gems. And I want to say a special acknowledgement to the folks joining us on X, Twitter. Just please remember, guys, we appreciate you watching as well. Keep the engagement going. If you're getting any nuggets, please post them. It's no longer tweet them. Please post them and use the hashtag JMMB Elevate. To make sure that we're seeing you. And yes, there are opportunities to win as well, guys. And yes, guys, any other platforms, if you're seeing something, just comment it, drop it in the comments, drop it in your stories, drop it, post it. We want everybody to get this information. And it's such great information. I love the key takeaway that I got from your section just now, Anna, is the fact that I think, even again, going back to those of us who are Jamaican and probably to a certain extent Caribbean as well, because I know where this is an international stream. But we are given so many limiting beliefs by, yes, well-intentioned family members, but things like, children must be seen and not heard. You must mind your corner. You're too enough. In Jamaica, so you mustn't be too enough. Because those are things that what do is they keep us silent. They keep us in a corner. They cause us to believe that we can't achieve things that we truly deserve. And when I go back to how JMMB was formed because the average everyday Jamaican could not get access to the money market at the time. And we found a way to make that happen, because everybody was our belief as an organization, thanks to our beloved co-founder of blessed memory. Everybody has the right to achieve a financial goal, and so can you. And so looking at those opportunities where you can meet people, you can get information, you can provide value, you can see yourself as someone who is worthy of growing wealth, that can go a long way in helping you now to start on the journey to creating wealth. So thanks so much, Anna. Much appreciated. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the engagement in the comments. I'm going to hop back over to Auntie Michelle, as I call her. We're going to be talking now about financial education and literacy. Because, of course, having the right mindset is very, very important, and it's a great place to start, as we've been discussing. We acknowledge that we need the rudiments, right? We need to know the 1 and the 2s and the 3s and the ABCs about finances and managing your finances. So, Michelle, could you just kind of level set for us in this section and tell us from your perspective and in your experience, because you are in the business of financial education with us, How important is financial literacy, and what role does that play, financial literacy play, in having the right money mindset?
It's an excellent question. I want you to first of all think about not being able to read. Everybody just think about that. Imagine that you're not able to read and you see all these letters all around the place and you see things that are words, but you can't read those words. What that does is that number one, you feel confused and it limits the information that you can take in. It also limits the various things that you can do because if you can't read, then you can't therefore get the instructions in order for you to take chances and grow. And so with financial education, it's the same thing. When persons don't understand the rudiments of money, the mechanics of money, it becomes very difficult when you see the inflation, when you see depreciation, when you see the other things in your environment, you don't know how to process them. And so financial education is critical. So I would say that that is one of the most important self-learning things that persons need to do because it is not taught at school, but it is one of the most important things.
It certainly is. And I want to acknowledge D.A. Mitchell's point coming in from YouTube that, wishing that high schools can sensitize young people about financial literacy. And we couldn't agree more. And I would say, again, this is where we can start to change the journey, guys. If you know anybody who needs to be a part of this conversation, this is a live stream going across the interwebs. We're not cussing any bad words, so children can watch it. It's totally open to anybody who wants to be a part of this stream to come and share this wonderful information. Thanks so much, Michelle. Appreciate that point. So, could you just share with us then, how do I become financially literate? So, I think we're basically all agreed that financial literacy is important and a crucial part of having the right mindset around money. But how do I become financially literate?
Okay, so I would have mentioned 5 points before, and I'll go into them a little bit more. One of
Yes,
them is
please.
to get a mentor. A mentor is someone who is ahead of you and is reaping the results that you want to have in your financial life. Now, I remember somebody had made the point before, how do you get in touch with wealthy persons? How do you get persons to even talk to you? Most persons, they want to talk about themselves and they want to talk about their successes. You just have to approach them and ask them the right questions. So I met a man, I think it probably about 2 weeks ago. And how did I meet this man? There's a particular venture that I want to get into. And so I'm trying to gather as much on the ground information about it as possible. Lo and behold, I saw this man and I wanted to get into this piece of real estate that belongs to him. I said, the man outside. I said to my sister and the realtor that was beside me, I'm going to go talk to that man and ask if the man can show me everything about his place and give me some tips. And they both went, you're going to do what? I said, yeah, I'm going to go to the man and I'm going to talk to him and everything. And so I went to him and I said, hello, sir. I introduced myself very nicely. And I said, I want to ask you something. And it might seem to be a little bit off the cuff, but please tell me a little bit more about your real estate, this particular property, why you thought it was a good investment, blah, 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 blah. The next thing I know, I get a whole tour. The next thing I know is that this man and I stood up talking for about 3 hours. Then the next thing I know is that he says, hey, let us now have a separate meeting. The amount that I've learned from this man in the last 2 weeks. Oh my goodness. Get a mentor. No, I'm not saying that he's the only mentor that I have. What I'm saying is you have to be bold to go after what you want. And the only thing people can tell you is no, and it not gonna kill you. It not gonna kill you. Promise you that. But most people want to talk about their successes. So if you ask them, how did you become so successful? They will answer you. And if you are someone who will not waste their time, what do I mean by that? They tell you to do something, you try it out, you show them, I've tried it and I've seen this result, or I wonder if I did it the right way. Ask them the question, show them that you're interested. It may be that you may invite the person to lunch, right? So that you're not just feeling as though you're taking from the person doesn't feel like it's a one-sided relationship where you're just taking and taking and taking. Also ask how you can now give value back to them, right? So that's in terms of the mentor. Another one is to get an advisor, right? So you have your financial advisors, you have your JMMB financial advisors who know about the money markets, who know how the various aspects of the economy will operate and how it will impact your investments. Talk to them. Develop a close relationship with them. How do you do that? Follow the advice that they give you. Because some persons, you tell them the advice this year, next year, the following year, and they're not listening. You think the advice are going to continue? No. You have to make sure that you are giving back by taking the information and showing that you're utilizing it. The next one would be financial literature. And that the whole world is awash with that. Google, hello, right? And some great places to go. Investopedia.com is great for persons who want to understand the financial language. What do certain words mean? How do certain financial instruments work? How do stocks work, bonds work, etc.? Investopedia.com is great for that. Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg, you can get it on the app. I have it on my app, right? App on the phone, right? You can get the latest news and see how major world events will impact major world economies, which, as you know, then impact us. Another great place is JMMB Dollars and Good Sense and places like Elevate and JMMB's YouTube channel, where we have a lot of content, not just on the mechanics of money, but also on the mindset, because the mindset is everything. Then there are great courses. The internet is awash with them, right? And then there are communities. And if you don't have a community already, maybe you should start one. Start one with your friends where you say, okay, this week we're going to be learning about X, and the following week we're going to learn about Y. I'm a part of communities, financial communities, where we talk money all the time, where we share little tips. And we say, this one says, oh, I bought so and so, and that one say I bought whatever, whatever. And you're all learning together. So mentor, advisor, literature, courses, and communities.
Love that. Love that. So, and it's available for everybody. And I'm glad you raised about JMMB, Michelle, because I just wanted to highlight that if you, of course, our YouTube channel, JMMB Group Jamaica, is awash with sessions like these, webinars like these that we've been doing for years now. It's free and available to everybody. You can go and watch them. They're all there on various topics. And then also, if you go on our website, jmm.com jm.jmmb.com. That's a Jamaica cycle where we're in 3 different countries, but we have 2 sections there. If you look across the top, there's life goals, right, which has our things in there about how to plan for the different life goals. We have dollars and good sense. There is a customer, let me make sure, market insights section as well, which gives us the analysis on the different companies on the markets, what's happening on the market. So there's tons of information there. We also have a newsletter that you could sign up for, JMMB Financial Market Color. There are some people who want to dive and get additional information about what's happening, especially in the equities markets in Jamaica. That is available as well. So reach out, guys. The information is there. It's available so you can lap it all up. Now, Anna, I want to jump back over to you now because the word risk, I think, came up earlier. I think you brought it up, Anna, if I'm not mistaken. And I know a lot of times when people think about building wealth and particularly investing, they're like, well, me not like take no risk, that's why me love my mattress. Me just put my money underneath the mattress because I don't want to take on no risk, right? Inherently, Anna, I would love for you to just kind of jump in. I know we are on the last 20 minutes 20 plus minutes of tonight's session, but I'd love for you to now jump in and take us in that section of the discussion, Anna, where we talk about embracing risk. And what could you share with us, Anna, is your approach to embracing risk, and how did you overcome your fear of taking risks when it came to creating your own wealth?
Well, Carrie, to be honest, I had the opposite problem. I've never been afraid of risk. I always chuck off headfirst in risk, right? So my problem was learning to not chuck off headfirst into risk and developing a system or a strategy to just protect myself. But looking at it from the other perspective for the benefit of everybody here, if you are currently afraid of risk, it is more likely than not because you don't have a safety net. So you're afraid to walk into risk because if you fall, there's nothing there to catch you. That's more than likely what is happening. You don't want to invest in the stocks, because if the market goes down, which it has to, because that's how econ works, if the market goes down, that's your last dead money, and you don't have anything else to catch you. You don't want to invest in real estate, because if something happens to the property or something happens to the market, that was your last money. Carrie, I'm going to tell you the truth. I crash and burn 3 different times just because I just love to chuck off headfirst in risk. And how I stopped doing that and came out of that cycle was I decided to, listen, girls, sit down and build your portfolio properly from the ground up. So instead of you standing here and then chucking off into stocks by yourself, not even unit trusting or carry, you just chuck off into stocks by yourself. Instead of doing that, do you have an emergency fund? Do you have a proper emergency fund? Not 1 month's worth of 1 month equivalent to your salary, but do you have a proper emergency fund? Do you know what your needs are? Do you know what you'd have to pay should you lose your job? Do you know what you would have to find in case there's a medical emergency? Do you know your numbers? You need to know your numbers. Start with building your emergency fund and build a proper emergency fund. What's going to happen is that thing in the back of your mind that's keeping you from risk, it's telling you, stay over here, stay over here. Slowly but surely, that voice is going to get lower and lower and lower. Because now you're more confident. You're more confident because you know something is there to catch you should you fall. That's the first thing. The second thing is you have to understand that if you want to win this game of wealth, you need to know that risk has to be involved. It is inevitable. It has to happen. In fact, the reason why you earn money in the stock market is because you are being compensated for the risk that you are undertaking. You're not getting free money. That's not what's happening. They're saying, listen, whatever you invest in, whether it's stocks, bonds, whatever it is, you are getting money on top of what you've put in because they are compensating you for the risk that you are taking on. Now, let's imagine that there's no risk. How much money would you get back? How much money would have been added to your portfolio? None, because you did not take any risk. So you have to understand that if you want to win the game of wealth, you have to embrace risk and embrace it carefully with caution. Don't be like me and chuck off head first because you know what, money I for make. No, you have to do it strategically. Next thing is there's a good chance that in your mind, risk is connected to failure. That's more than likely what's happening. Risk is connected to failure automatically in your mind. You're saying risk is synonymous with failure. So here's what I'm going to share with you. Last year, I met somebody who he went to business school in the States and he was sharing some business. You know, I too, Michelle, what you said, I do that too. I just go talk to people and just ask them a bunch of questions and they're always willing to share. More times than not, they're willing to share. I learned so much. Talking to this gentleman, he shared something with me, this phrase called try and fail fast. He said, try and fail fast. I took offense because I'm like, are you assuming that I'm going to fail? Because you're like, try and herp. In my mind, it was herp and try and herp and fail because I know you're going to fail. But when I sat and I thought about it, after he explained it, I thought about it some more. I did some deep reflection. And what it was in this game of wealth, just in business overall, you are going to fail at some point. It has to happen. You are going to fail at some point. So instead of you being afraid of that fact, you should just know that this is something that's going to happen. I'm expecting it. So let me plan for it. Let me hurry up and try it so that if it does fail, I can hurry up and get back up again and try again. Hence, try and fail fast. So the amount of times I said just know that you're going to fail, I feel like you should understand that it's nothing to be afraid of. You have to think almost like a robot when it comes to this. You try something, it failed, try again. Try something, it failed, try something else. Try, fail, try something else. Forget about the risk aspect of it in that way because you would have calculated the risk from jump. Once you get over that, once you're confronting your feelings with facts, you can then go and try and fail fast. Believe when I tell you, if you want to win this game of wealth, you have to embrace risk. You can't be afraid of it. You need to learn how to assess things for yourself. That's why financial literacy comes into play. Don't just take something that somebody tells you and run with it. Trust me, I did that. I went through that point in my life too. I just took information and ran with it. Don't do that. You need to learn at least the fundamental tenets of what you're trying to do. If you're trying to invest in stocks, please learn the basics of it. Learn the basics of it. If you're trying to get into real estate, learn the basics of it. You may meet somebody, ask them some questions like Michelle did. Because this exercise that you're doing is going to help you calculate the risk that you're about to take. And it will tell you if it is worth it or not. And even if you slip up and make a mistake, because you're a human being, it is, come on, you're gonna make mistakes. If it does happen, you have your emergency fund to catch you. Your portfolio is properly built out. I'll be all right. If this fails, I'll be all right. I'll just get up and try again. You have to embrace that mindset. You have to embrace the mindset. I can't say it enough. Try and fail fast. Calculate your risk. Talk to people. Learn about things for yourself. Read. Google stuff. Read books. JMMB posts a lot of things on their Instagram. You can watch what they're saying, watch their videos, read their articles. Have you ever been on JMMB's website? My goodness, a wealth of information. So don't be afraid of risk. If you want to, as I said, win a game of wealth, you have to hug it up. But kind of like hug it up like this, like from afar, sort of thing. Don't just grab it up so like me. Just hug it up at a distance, assess, go on with your life.
Yes, indeed. And, I want to reiterate the fact that, and I love the fact that, well, Orville spoke about calculated risk, but also just to highlight to everybody that obviously there are different levels, I like to call it, of risk. There are some of us who are high risk takers, some who prefer moderate risk, some lower end of the risk scale. And it's so important for us. That's why it's important for us to make sure that we're not only financially literate, but we're getting the right kind of guidance and advice, licensed advice, so that you're choosing the right options for you based on your appetite for risk. But recognizing that risk, especially if you're investing, risk is in everything. And so it's just about choosing the right options for you. Now, ladies, I know we are just under 15 minutes left, and I want to jump to what I believe are some of the more crucial questions left in this cadence. And Michelle, I want to jump back over to you because you, Michelle, you've dedicated, of course, years of your life to advising and empowering people about their finances, both at JMMB and otherwise. And from your perspective, Michelle, because you've been talking to so many people, so many clients, especially at JMMB and just across Jamaica and I'm sure across the region, could you share with us what you found to be the biggest money challenge that people have, and what strategies have you found to be most effective in helping people to overcome this challenge?
The biggest challenge is not inflation, it's not depreciation, it's not anything else, but except right up here. If you believe you can or you can't, you're right. It really is all about mindset. And so, as a matter of fact, when I just started writing articles, I'd write a lot on the mechanics of money. And I've stopped doing that because that is not the problem. The problem is that persons still have a challenge moving from one mental address to another mental address. So here is what you can do. And everybody, if you can just do it along with me, right? As I'm going through this, as to how you can actually help to change your own mindset. The first thing I want you to do is to think about what areas of your finances are hurting. There's pain right there. So for some persons, it is that you're not earning enough. For other persons, it is that you don't know where your money is going each month. For another person, it is that you don't think you can secure a financial legacy for your children. Think about the specific area that you're feeling that pain. And then it's a matter of identifying the negative money belief that has led to that pain. So, for example, if the area of hurt is that you're not earning enough, then what is the belief that is governing that? Very often persons say, well, I am in a profession that they really just don't pay. Or I am earning what the market rate is and boy, things just hard. But is it that is the truth? Is that belief the truth? Let's continue on. The third thing I want you to do is I want you to identify specifically how much pain you're in, the pain in your brain, the pain in your heart. Sometimes it's a physical pain too. And I want you to zone into that pain and feel it. And then imagine feeling that pain for a prolonged period of time. Think about feeling that pain for your entire future. And if that is okay, stay where you are. But if that is not okay, then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to know, keep constantly researching how to get out of that pain. If we have a headache that is killing us and we try Advil and we try Panadol and we try this and we try that, right? And the pain in our head is killing us. What do? We call one friend, we call one doctor, we go here, we go there, we go on inside. We don't stop until we find something that alleviates that pain. And so if the pain in the finances is that significant, do some research. Remember that it is with new information that we change, right? Be transformed by the renewing of our minds. Renewing, that means we have to be doing the thing over and over and over and over again. And we need to be renewing our minds with information that is going to be counteracting the information that comes at us all the time. Anna made such a beautiful point earlier when she was saying that most of what we're doing on automatic. So we're doing the thing on automatic and keeping ourselves in pain. If it's automatic, then we need to know, shift something out of the natural programming of our lives in order to make it not automatic, right? And as we read and as we watch videos and as we talk to people, as I said, it's going to happen that we're getting new information that will help us with the specific area that we have as that pain. So remember, if it is that you're not budgeting right, you're going to be looking up for things that help you to budget. You're going to look at tips and tricks that you can use, how to automate, etc., etc. So that is what you need to do. But the biggest problem is not the economy. The economy is bad or the economy is good. Somebody making money. Will it be you? Money will be made by the persons whose mindset is set on the fact that there are always opportunities out there for them to grab. Another beautiful point made by Anna, and it was one of my favorite quotes to about this fail fast. It's John Maxwell that speaks about failing fast. It's one of his quotes. And I thought about it. When we were little, we learned to walk. How did we learn to walk? We faced the fear of failure, of falling down. But then there was somebody who could help us, right? Somebody could help us and we could hold their hand and we learned how to walk. When we were little, we faced the challenge. We didn't know how to talk. How did we learn how to talk? We faced the potential failure, and we failed so many times at it, at mispronouncing words and sounding stupid, right? And how did we learn to talk? Somebody helped us. This is how you pronounce it. And so in finances too, we're gonna fail. It's gonna happen, as Anna said. But you have to embrace the mindset that fail at so much things already. But fail my drop down how much time? But fail my mispronounce word how much time? But fail. You failed forward, and you failed forward several times. You'll get up again if you have the right guidance, the right people supporting you.
Love it, love it, love it. I know we're soaking up all of the nuggets, guys. And I see some of the questions, and I want to remind everybody that this is the first night of JMMB Elevate 6.0. We're going to have another session tomorrow on budgeting, because I see an awesome question coming in about, well, the money that I earn in from my job is not enough. I can barely pay my bills. I know you're telling me to invest. And I see some wonderful people already responding with some great responses about looking at other income generating opportunities and how to budget more effectively. So, guys, join us tomorrow, same time, 8 o'clock, across JMMB's platforms, where we're going to be getting into the whole matter of budgeting and day-to-day money management. But also, I want to continue to big up my folks over on X, Twitter. Thanks so much for joining us. And remember to keep posting Nate tweeting what we're sharing here with the hashtag JMMB Elevate. We want to hear you, wanted you to continue to pass those nuggets along because you may get a chance to win. You never know. And if anybody else is watching on any of the other platforms and want to hop over on X to join and view over there, fine. We appreciate that. Hashtag JMMB Elevate. And wherever you are, folks, please share the nuggets, post about them, talk about them. We want this information to get far and wide. And anybody who would have missed tonight, remember that we are recording this session, so it will be available on our YouTube channel. You can watch it thereafter. But please stay tuned. We have a wonderful bit of information to give before we go. And then I'm going to share the last question now with Anna because we are just almost to time. So, Anna, as we wrap up this session, which has really been chocked full of wonderful nuggets, could you do us the honor of just quickly summing up 5 actionable pointers to have the right money mindset? You know, we would have discussed a number of them throughout the session, but for those who would have, of course, joined a little late, but also are just kind of just making their notes and tying things up, could you share with us the 5 points, please, some actionable steps that we can take away about having the right money mindset, please?
Carrie, this is difficult. This is difficult, but I'm gonna try.
Yeah. How do you narrow it down to just 5, right?
I'm gonna try to take you through in terms of steps. So step 1 is you have to try to figure out what your mindset currently is. What are your current beliefs about money? A good place to start is where Michelle started, which is look at your circle. Look at the people who you are surrounding yourself with. It can give you a good indication as to where your mindset currently is. But step 1, assess your mindset as it is right now. Step 2, work on said mindset. If you realize that you have a negative money mindset, you have a negative relationship with money, you need to now start working on cultivating that relationship with money. I gave some tips to work with that. Number 1 is you need to start looking at people who have done it already, look to them for inspiration, try to replicate what they've already done. Or the next thing is you can try to, instead of focusing on money, try to create value instead, because the money is going to follow if you focus on creating value, providing value. Step 3, now that you know what the mindset is, you're working on fixing the mindset. Now you need to work on fixing it even more from a financial perspective now, because now you need to seek financial education. You need to get financially literate. You need to be able to speak the language of money. A tip I'm going to throw in here quickly is if you want to become fluent in the language of money, just surround yourself with people who already speak the language. You're going to start taking on that language. Michelle mentioned that point in sorts earlier. So if you want to learn, if you want to become financially literate, surround yourself with people who already are. It's going to just seep in. It's natural. It's as you breathe. If you talk to me, for example, I'm telling you, one conversation with me, something about stocks will come up, something about the economy will come up, something about inflation will come up. So just surround yourself with people who are actively seeking financial knowledge, because they have no problem sharing it with you. The next step is, now that you are working on this, you now need to embrace risk. Seek opportunities, and when you find opportunities, assess them from a risk-based perspective, calculate the risk, and if the risk is worth it, don't be afraid. Chuck off, because you already calculated the risk. You already calculated the risk. So don't be afraid, chuck off. And if you fail, remember, it's natural. It's a part of the game. It's a part of the game. Michelle said earlier, look how much time you fail already. Look how much time you fail already. This is nothing. You shouldn't be afraid, because you've done it before, right? The final step I have for you is, I don't believe we talked about this, but I think it's very important, is you need to set clear financial goals, and then you need to dive into it. You need to have discipline. Right here is tattooed on my wrist. Can't really see, but the word is tattooed on my wrist because it's that important. You can't just have a to-do list or a vision board and expect it's going to happen. That's not how it works. Believe me, take it from somebody who, I went to get the magical rock. I was rubbing the rock every night because that's what they say I must do. I was spinning around 5 times because that's what they say I must do. It doesn't work. You have to actually do work. You have to be disciplined and consistent with it. So you need to set clear financial goals, and you need to take action. Carrie, I think those are your 5 steps.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Anna. And yes, folks, I'm sure that this was a great session. I'm sure you got some wonderful nuggets. Again, this session was recorded. We want to thank everybody for the wonderful, wonderful engagement in all of our live chats across all of the platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and IG. Thanks to my IG folks for joining in. Again, please feel free to post and share whatever it is that you learned from this session that did well for you or that spoke to you in a specific way. Use the hashtag JMMB Elevate. Also, letting you know that we do have a free resource, a workbook, an ebook that's available for you. We just want you to complete a survey. We want your feedback, guys. We want to know what you thought of this session and how it worked for you. So here is our survey link right there. And we want you to complete the survey and give us your feedback so that we can know where we can improve. And of course, as you complete this survey, you will get the opportunity to download a free ebook that gives you the chance to get information that you need. So yes, folks, please join us tomorrow, same time, 8 p.m. Jamaica time, all of JMMB's platforms, where we'll be talking about budgeting in hard times. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Anna, for your time. Thank you for my JMMB team who put this all together. And we wish everybody a great 2024. And God's willing, we'll see you again tomorrow. All right. Cheers.